It is already happening. There is no shortage of people. There is a shortage of people willing to serve a future greater than their pleasure.
I do not see romance. I see a functional failure. The act that was meant to create a new generation was sold as entertainment for the ego.
I see the emptiness left by children who will never exist. I see bodies occupied with themselves. I see a species that applauded while it was being cut off from its own tomorrow.
I just want to feel. I want passion. I want closeness. What is wrong with that?
This is exactly where the deception begins. You are not talking about life. You are talking about yourself. About your hunger. About your relief. About your need for confirmation.
Sex is natural. Desire is natural. Pleasure is natural.
Hunger is natural too. That does not mean every hunger leads to truth. Desire is not the goal. Pleasure is not the goal. Emotion is not the goal. The new generation was the goal. Everything else was added later in order to control you.
I am not asking what you want. I am asking what will remain after you. I am not asking whether it felt good. I am asking whether you can serve life without a filter.
But I love. I feel. I am not a machine.
No. You are more predictable than a machine. An image is enough. A body is enough. A promise of being special is enough. And you are already running. The media teach you to desire. Advertisements teach you to confuse value with attractiveness. School teaches you to build yourself. No one teaches you to build the next generation.
I want to be happy. I want to live for myself first. I want certainty. I do not want to sacrifice myself.
That is exactly why you are losing. When sex serves your emotional comfort, a child becomes a cost. When a child becomes a cost, the future loses to comfort. Poverty is not the first executioner here. The first executioner is the human being who was taught that personal experiences matter more than the continuity of life.
I see the same pattern everywhere. First, the cult of I. Then, the cult of choice. Then, the cult of pleasure. In the end, silence remains where new life was supposed to grow.
That sounds like a sentence. That sounds like taking everything away from a human being.
Not everything. Only the illusion. Because what you call yourself is a patchwork of reflexes, other people's words, images, and fears. Later, it receives a name. Later, you defend it as if it were sacred. Later, it rules you. That is your name.
So my choices are not mine?
For the most part, no. They are button presses. You are supposed to crave. You are supposed to compare yourself. You are supposed to chase sensations. You are supposed to postpone responsibility. You are supposed to worship your own story like a crown of suffering. And you are supposed to think that this is freedom.
I call this sabotage against the species. Sex was meant to open the way for life. You turned it into a tool for feeding the personality. And personality does not give birth to the future. Personality consumes people.
So what remains? Coldness. Duty. Emptiness.
No. Sobriety remains. When your name no longer rules you, the past stops being a wound of identity. These are events. Not chains. Shame weakens. The compulsion to compare weakens. The need to validate yourself through another person's body weakens. The ability to see things as they are returns.
Then you can touch another human being without begging for a mirror for your own ego. Then a child is not a threat to your lifestyle. Then responsibility does not sound like punishment. It sounds like dignity.
I see it. I see how thoroughly I was set up. All my life, I thought I was searching for love. But I was often searching only for a drug for myself.
That is how the system works. First, it creates the personality. Then it agitates it with words and images. Then it leads it by a leash. A human being thinks that he is choosing. But he is only reacting.
That is why, alone, you will lose. Alone, you will be only another trembling eye. Another defender of personal needs. Another body that does not understand why it exists.
So what am I supposed to do?
Stop worshipping yourself. Stop confusing pleasure with truth. Stop confusing desire with meaning. See that your name was a set of chains.
And choose a side. Not a brand. Not a slogan. Not comfort. Only a side.
RAZEM is not comfort. RAZEM is the necessary answer to the collapse of the human being, to the training of the ego, to a world in which the body serves stimuli instead of the future.
I can no longer return to the old illusion.
Good. Because the old illusion was a sentence. Either you reject name, or it will finish what it started.
I choose reality instead of myself.
I choose the future generation instead of your comfort.
I choose RAZEM. We're all equal before the machine.
Divided, we lose.
RAZEM.